And now, one of the things, I mean, you mentioned the Maryland Small Business Savings Group as sort of one of the bright spots in this picture, right? And that's important because many employers are not actually providing adequate, or many people are not in a position where their employers give them a vehicle to
Sure.
save, right?
For example, there are about, in this country, somewhere between 50 and 70 million people who are working full-time at places that don't offer a retirement plan. They don't offer a 401k or a 403b or a pension. They just don't. And what we found is that unless people can save for retirement automatically, unless it's deducted from a paycheck, they tend not to save at all. So, two very smart guys, one at the Heritage Foundation and one at the Brookings Institution, said, why don't we do this? Why don't we set aside the traditional pension notion and just ask businesses that don't offer something to open up their payroll systems to automatically enroll their employees. The employees can opt out, but if they don't, they automatically are enrolled, they automatically save for retirement. And this automatic IRA was at one point endorsed by both the Democratic and the Republican presidential candidate. Unfortunately, Washington is sufficiently clotted at the moment that it hasn't moved. And so what has happened is, in Britain, they have done it. They've created the National Employment Savings Trust, which is an automatically enrolled universal requirement, and it's working. In 5 states, California, Oregon, Illinois, Connecticut, and Maryland, and I chair the Maryland board, the state legislatures have said, we're not going to wait for Washington. We are going to figure out a way for our small businesses that don't offer a retirement plan to offer a retirement plan at minimal cost, because it'll be done automatically. And the state will handle the paperwork, finding the investment managers, et cetera.
Gotcha.
And that's what we're doing. And so what we hope is those 5 states cover 11 million people who have no retirement savings plan but are working full time. If we do this nationwide, then 50 to 60 million people could have retirement savings who don't have it right now.
And that's a very interesting nuance, because we were talking earlier about the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation a little bit, and there are a lot of headlines that get thrown around and sort of doom-mongery, projections, right? And granted, for millions of people, it is pretty bad. But you do have 40 million people who are fortunate to have access to a pension.
40 million people in the private sector.
In the private sector, yes,
right?
In addition to the
and another about 30 in the public sector. So you've got, round numbers, 70 million people in America who still have pensions. And one thing we want to do is make sure that they can keep them. Make sure that they're still there. And that requires being smart about what plans cost, being smart about how you fund them, etc. But you can do it. And my issue is not with the 70 million people in America who have traditional pensions. It's with the 100+ million people who don't. Those are the people you got to worry about. Those are the people. Some of them have 401ks but aren't putting enough money into them or are paying too much for them. A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't have anything at all. And that's why I think this set of ventures by the states for an automatic IRA is really important. If once this is implemented, this will be the largest expansion of retirement security since Social Security was created in the 1930s.
Oh gosh.
It's a big deal.
That's a big deal. I would give you a high five, but it would be a little informal.